Breaking news, friends. Russia is burning. It's just that the whole of Russia is engulfed. By fires, a state of emergency has been declared. Total collapse and mass evacuation.
This is what the visibility is like? You can't even see the cars. We're driving with our hazard lights on. With the headlights on, there's nothing to breathe. We're literally suffocating.
It's already right next to us.
First of all, the airport in CHITA is on fire. The CHITA airfield is saving equipment. The situation is difficult. Firefighting collapse.
Good morning to everyone. We're having a firefighting collapse here, so to speak. We've already made our first flight. Now we've taxied at the airfield. There's a fire here too. Our firefighters are working right on the airfield. They're saving the equipment there because it's very close to the helicopters and the hangars. The situation here is also difficult. So we're working. The second aircraft is also getting ready to take off. There's a fire being extinguished in the Smolenka area. That's how things are. So we keep working. Take care of yourselves.
A wall of fire near the highway in the Muzhskoy region. There's a massive forest fire raging there.
Oh, how scary, really. Look how frightening it is. Unbelievable.
Drivers are met with hellish landscapes on the road from Blagoveshchensk to Svobodny, near the village of Moskovitino. Hundreds of trees are burning in Moskovitino. People are filming what's happening. They are terrified. Russia is in shock. The footage is no less horrifying than nightmares. Friends, please like this video and subscribe to my channel. And we are starting this segment.
We are waiting for you, so come visit us right now.
The Zabaykalsky Krai is engulfed in massive fires. Homes have been destroyed, people have been evacuated, and a state of emergency has been declared. The fight against large-scale forest fires continues in Zabaykalsky Krai, where a state of emergency has been declared. According to the Ministry of Emergency Situations, there are currently more than 50 fires burning in the region, covering an area of 380,000 hectares.
The wind is blowing toward the people of Zabaykalsky. This is where the springs are, where people collect water. On the opposite side, there is a very strong fire.
People were evacuated from the area where the fire came right up to residential buildings. Several thousand people are currently involved in firefighting efforts, including about 800 rescuers. Firefighting paratroopers from other regions have also been brought in. There are 250 units of equipment and aircraft involved. The work is complicated by weather conditions and the proximity of the fire to populated areas. Dhaka buildings have been damaged and dozens of homes have been destroyed. It is known that dozens of houses have burned down, 30 structures destroyed, and another 50 plots have been affected. In CHITA, the administrative center of the Zabaykalsky Krai, the Kadala airport had previously suspended operations temporarily. It was simply surrounded. A forest fire made air travel difficult for dozens of hours. The main cause, he says, is careless handling of fire during strong winds. This was reported by the region's Minister of Natural Resources, Pavel Volgin. Local racist Telegram channels claim that the fires may be set intentionally. Racists have found neatly stacked dry branches and empty oil canisters in the forests. In one of CHITA's districts, 3 men were detained today. Volunteers noticed that they were driving into the forest toward the fire. The circumstances are currently being investigated. Russians, look at this footage. See how people are trapped in a fiery prison. In Russia, the cosmodrome and nearby houses could burn to the ground. Oh, how terrifying, really. Just look how frightening it is. Right now, massive forest fires are raging in the Amur region. A fire also broke out near a gas boiler house. It is almost impossible to get out of the city because of the burning trees along the roads. This element is simply taking revenge on Russia for all the atrocities it committed against Ukraine and other countries. The total area of fires exceeded 3,000 hectares. It is noted that the city, with a population of just over 7,000 people, is home to employees of the Vostochny Cosmodrome. The Cosmodrome itself is located 25 kilometers from the city. A state of emergency due to forest fires has been declared in Buryatia. Currently, according to the regional government, there are 30 active fires in the republic, covering an area of more than 53,000 hectares. If there are no large-scale fires in Russia, then it's not really Russia. This time, Baikal was affected. According to the Russian Ministry of Emergency Situations, the fires there have covered an area of more than 576,000 hectares. Spring fires in the Amur region have reached the town of Tsiolkovsky, and right now they are threatening 15 new apartment buildings. At least 2,000 Russians live in them, who are leaving their homes on their own. There is no mass evacuation. Once again, friends, an evacuation has still not been announced in the city. Solokovsky is located 15 kilometers from the Vostochny Cosmodrome. About 6,000 people live there, many of whom are employees of the station. Smoke is enveloping the city, people have nothing to breathe, and strong winds continue to fan the flames and hinder firefighting efforts. The fire has come right up to residential buildings. Outbuildings and garages across the road from the new developments are already burning. The total area of the fire in the district, more than 3,000 hectares.
It's really close by. It's just past the mill. Where the animal farm is, there is one. Here's the forester. That whole area is basically over there. 4 fire trucks have gone in there. Now 2 more just sped by.
Yeah, at least better to be dropped off in a field and stay alive than to fly and burn alive. Passengers on the Aeroflot Bangkok-Moscow flight first went through an emergency landing in New Delhi due to problems with the fuel tank, and then found out that just a few minutes after landing, the Indian airport came under fire.
Please don't panic, everyone will be disembarked soon. Where are you going to go, out into the field or what? Better to be alive in a field than flying. Do you have doubts? Find it for me. A source.
Ladies and gentlemen, please take your seats and let the technical staff through.
I really need a reliable source for this. There is absolutely no source available at all, not even a single reference.
Where is this guide? You can just get up and let the technical staff through.
Come on, I'll take you there right now. To the kitchen. Come on, let's get started. I'll check your blood pressure for you. I know you might feel a bit nervous, but there's nothing to worry about. I believe in you, and I'm here to help. Before we begin, let's take a moment to relax. How about we have a drink together? Maybe some water or juice, just to help you feel more comfortable before we check your blood pressure. Staying hydrated is important, and it can help you feel at ease. Come on, I'll take you there. To the kitchen, where we can sit down and take our time. We don't have to rush, and I'll be with you every step of the way. Is this normal? It's normal. It's terrible. What is this? First she connected it with the sunks, and then she got upset with the Kinots. Now I'll tell it myself, lay it all out. Whatever you want, there's a war going on. War!
What? Is the person actually in a spacesuit right now? Or what are they wearing at the moment?
What exactly did you take out of California, if anything? Which one are you referring to specifically? Which ones? All the airports in Russia are shut down. All the planes in Russia are being sent back. All flights have been cancelled. Who will bring you back?
The plane took off for Russia, but the 9-hour flight had to be interrupted. 4 hours after takeoff, a persistent smell of burning plastic appeared in the cabin. The crew was unable to quickly identify the source of the smell. One of the flight attendants came out into the cabin with a fire extinguisher. Panic broke out in the cabin. One of the passengers, overwhelmed with emotion, asked for the plane to land as soon as possible. Anywhere at all, even in a field, just somewhere. Other passengers tried to remain calm, but it was clear they were struggling to do so. The pilots decided to land the plane at the nearest airport. The aircraft was received in New Delhi. Before landing, the captain dumped fuel. After the plane landed safely, it was inspected by staff at the Indian airport, who discovered that on the 27th, Eridu experienced a short circuit in the multimedia system. But the passengers' misfortunes did not end after this. Immediately after landing, India closed its airspace due to shelling from Pakistan. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Today, May 10th, at the special hour of the holiday, we delivered a strong and decisive blow to Mavriden. This action was important for us, and we are grateful for the strength and success that made it possible. Alhamdulillah, we sincerely give thanks for this achievement and for the support that helped us accomplish it. The plane that was supposed to pick up the passengers was unable to reach Delhi due to closed airspace. The racists were able to return home only 2 days later. Their plane finally landed in Moscow. The joys of life in a superpower. In Surgut, a child almost drowned in mud. The boy was stuck knee-deep in Putin's prosperity and couldn't get out on his own. According to local residents, a swamp forms in this spot, and the authorities aren't planning to do anything about it. And Gladkov accused the residents of profiting from the shelling. The governor of Belgorod region stated that some residents of border areas deliberately exposed their property to shelling in order to receive compensation. Here she is, Mother Rashis.
They attempted to plant an FPV drone, which they had found hidden somewhere in the bushes. To pass it off as a shelled car and get compensation.
Let's take the car out of the garage. Maybe we'll get it shelled, at least we'll get some money. Gladkov recounted, supposedly quoting a conversation he overheard.
Unfortunately, I myself have heard relatives talking when... Let's take it out. Our settlement is being shelled. Let's get the car out of the garage. Maybe it'll get hit. At least we'll get some money. The car is old, can't do anything with it, can't sell it. So I have one request. Through the use of bypass routes, we ask that people make an effort to put their personal vehicles in garages whenever possible. We understand that there are situations, such as strikes or direct hits, where it is simply not possible to do so, and in those cases, there is nothing that can be done. However, when it is possible and safe, please move your vehicles off the streets and into garages to help keep the roads clear and accessible for everyone. But we also see on social media, let's demand to be relocated, otherwise the war will end and we'll still be living in these old houses. So it's not just 1, 2, or even 3 different settlements where we observe a distinct group beginning to form, led by certain residents. These individuals attempt to obtain government assistance, seeking help and support from the authorities, even though in fact they have no grounds for it.
Gladkov ordered the police to check whether people's cars are actually in their garages. Obviously, the police and military in the border areas have nothing better to do. What irritates the governor even more are people who, under the pretext of shelling, want to move into new housing at the government's expense. It doesn't even occur to officials that people simply... No one would need any government assistance if it weren't for Putin's madness bringing war to the Belgorod region. And in the collection of the underage Kadyrov Jr., there's a new medal, but there's a catch. The possible heir to the Chechen throne now has more awards than years he's lived on this earth. It is dedicated to the 25th anniversary of the Akhmat Grozny Omon. Since everyone is already used to Adam Kadyrov being awarded something every week, no one is to blame for this medal. And who, my friends, would have noticed if in the award ceremony video the Russian coat of arms was for some reason erased? The crosses. Actually, in Russia, there is an article about desecration of state symbols. And law enforcement gladly uses this article only against opposition members. Friends, please like this video, subscribe to my YouTube channel, and happily leave a comment. Write what you think about this. And now let's take a look at an analysis of Russian propaganda.
And if he really gives the Tamagakis, honestly, I can't quite imagine how that's going to look. Yes, that would bring us closer to what is called nuclear. All right, fine. But we'll go straight to heaven. They'll just die. Well, we could struggle a little more. We could even suffer a bit. We could suffer too. That's what former ambassadors are saying. Why should we care what Putin says or what Lavrov says? And why should we care what the Americans say? We'll sell to whomever we want. Why should we care? Now countries will start acting with the attitude, why should we care? And how many days until humanity disappears? They just need to understand that transferring tomahawks is already beyond the Cuban Missile Crisis.
Yes, and
When they now try, through little articles, to say, all right, just stop, what difference does it make? None at all. We'll just hit them, and that'll be the end of it. By the way, if the UK gets washed away, I think all of humanity will applaud. They'll say, my God, how wonderful. That's actually the truth. How wonderful, as you say. Yeah, there's Magaf, but convincing yourself that Magafka doesn't play any role, that there are few of them, that they won't give anything. There has never been a time when they threw something into the public space and it didn't end up on Ukrainian territory.
They have never waged wars of conquest. We have always fought them off, those who tried to steal something from us. And that's probably why the attitude is so different, such a very different attitude. For them, it's business. It's all about making money, gaining influence, strengthening their own system. But for us, it's always about survival. For us, it's always national security in its most elevated form. I think it was Trudeau who once said, commenting on the fact that right next to Canada are the giant United States. I'm not sure exactly how he put it, but when you have an elephant sleeping next to you, if it turns over just a bit, it can crush you, and it won't even realize that it crushed you.
You want these Nazi tendencies, and the Ukrainian armed forces are acting even worse than Hitler's killers. Look at the atrocities they are committing in these territories. And you want even the thought, any thought, to be present at negotiations about the settlement? About the idea that some territories should still be given up. Give them up how? With the people, with the Russians, or without the people, just with the rare earth metals?
Yeah, we don't care how many missiles they're planning to send. If they destroy our decision-making centers, it automatically kicks in. The dead hand?
Yes, the perimeter system. Why am I saying this? What's going on with Russia here? It's clear that we will resist. It's clear that here we need to create a completely different kind of response. But even the launch of a single Agavka missile at our territory will allow them to gauge our reaction to certain actions.
Dmitry Anatolyevich made it clear, this is the beginning of a nuclear war. And accordingly, we would have to strike first at the storage sites and deployment locations of the nuclear delivery systems. And at the same time, make a decision at the center so we don't have to get up twice, Stalin straight. And while we're at it, wash away that incomprehensible little British spit to hell.
By the way, returning to Britain and our response, the President hinted quite unambiguously that we are moving on to testing those devices we've talked about. And most likely, we're talking about the final stage of Poseidon. And for the British, this is more complicated. Or Burevestnik missile, something strategic.
The main thing, they tested it at the right test site. Last time there was a very good test site, Yuzhmash, right? They tested Oreshnik at Yuzhmash. That was a very correct decision. Here you could use the British Isles as a test site, if you go that route. But for Europe, things are much more complicated. Europe, let's be honest, everything is heading toward war. Let's not delude ourselves with illusions, Tomahawks. They'll be given everything. They'll be given everything. And I'm sure that when the need arises, they'll even be given tactical nuclear weapons. Because what's happening now already looks like when people realize they have no strength left, they throw off the gloves, grab bottles, smash them, and that's it. Forget about fair boxing, it's turning into a dirty fight. At the same time, they're confident that we'll always be a couple of steps behind. And they're not even embarrassed anymore. Just think about it. Now, some security and defense expert, Professor Michael Clark, openly says that it's us who are fighting. It's our special forces, our specialists. They've even stopped being embarrassed about it.
As of today, we're at war with the entire so-called West. We're at war. We're not fighting Ukraine. We're fighting in Ukraine. Even Trump said, if it weren't for us, this war would have ended in 3 days. Isn't that true? He did say that. So we're fighting them, all of them, and we're winning. Can you imagine that? Could you have imagined this before Putin? No, you couldn't have. That's why, for a person of Russian culture, Russian history, living in Russia, supporting Putin is a matter of pride. They think they're insulting me by saying that. No, they're not insulting me at all. The world will never be unipolar again. That's it. The era of hegemony is over. And who ended it? It was ended by Vladimir Vladimirovich Putin. That's exactly why we're proud to be his trusted representatives, or as you said, Putinists. To sit down, talk, and come to an agreement. That's it. And to bring all this to an end. No one likes that people are dying. I don't like it. You know, I'm sure Vladimir Vladimirovich Putin doesn't like it at all either, that people are dying. And if people weren't dying, if they hadn't started destroying our people in 2014, this war that's happening now wouldn't have started. Do you understand? It wouldn't have started from the very beginning. We really hope that negotiations will actually take place, and that people will stop dying. No one likes it when blood is being shed. We're not sadists, after all.
If you ever wondered what to give a priest as a gift, the answer is, of course, a yacht, a Mercedes, or an apartment in the center of Moscow. Well, and otherwise just as much as you can. A little reminder. There's a grain of truth in every joke. Everything else is true.
What can you give a priest as a gift?
Well, the classic options: a yacht, a Mercedes, and an apartment on Tverskaya. And after that you can...
As much as you can.
Yes, just scale it down according to your means.
Well,
I'm an intern at sea.
People are curious.
Any athlete should know the Olympic standards. Even a school kid. Though I don't know if a school kid is supposed to run 100 meters in 10 seconds. 10 minutes is perfectly fine.
People are curious, for example, about what happens when a priest performs a sacrament, a baptism, or something else. And the question is, how do you thank the priest? He says it's an awkward situation at that moment. On the
one hand, half the people curse us for having set fees in churches, and the other half curse us for not having them because no one knows how much they're supposed to give you.
And they quote how to thank the priest so as not to offend him.
And that always makes me happy inside. I smile when someone gives an uneven amount. It's just clear that, let's say, 100 rubles is too little, but 200 is too much. So here, take 150, right? You can tell the person was bargaining with themselves inside. It's always obvious when the amount is uneven.
I just really want this to get into the head of every foreigner out there. We will win. And notice, during this press conference, well, the statement, Putin said that this is a war.
Yes. I also noticed that for the first time he said that this is a war.
So that it doesn't spread across Ukraine, so that all sorts of scum don't read it, a video has surfaced online showing women destroying racist classics. According to them, they managed to destroy 3 bags of racist books. 2 more are in the process. They plan to send everything for recycling. Well,
here we go, round 2. What do we have here? Lermontov into the trash. Dostoevsky. What did it write here? Crime and punishment. Crime and punishment? We're taking the paper for recycling. Here are the bags. Chekhov. What terrorists grew up on that later our journalists will have their eyes gouged out and their tracheas cut? Rutatiana's book. Pushkin. Alexander Ga. Harmatny in our language. The bastard estimator. This is all about the estimator. Chekhov. How could we do without Chekhov? Well, you know, we're tearing these books up, spending our precious time so that this bastard So these bastards don't spread it all over the world, so it doesn't spread across our Ukraine, so people don't read them. All sorts of nests. No more Chekhovs. And here, what's this? Chekhov again. So we've already got 3 bags, now 2 more. Didn't have time before, but now we do. Farewell, Pasha. Farewell, Parasha. No one needs it anywhere. It's junk. And even if you try to burn it, it won't burn. But it's better to turn it in for recycling, let it be put to some use. Just a small bundle.
Friends, please like this video and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Leave a comment, write a few kind words in support of Ukraine. Glory to Ukraine. Glory to the heroes. We will definitely win.